Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you for joining us. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Hive. Just go find us. Say hi.
Or don't.
Send money. Send help.
Yeah, definitely send help.
Okay, that's all. All right. We have plenty of movies to talk about today. Are you ready to get started, Bebe?
I guess.
I need to tell everybody to come watch the show. Let me go tell people. Let me go tell my friends, and then they're not going to watch it.
Are they friends, though?
No, they're not. They're horrible people.
Are they true friends? Back in the day, they all supported us, and they gave up on us.
Haters.
They realized the truth that we suck.
No.
Oh. Or they got lives?
Yeah. I guess. That's rude.
All right. What we got, sister?
All right. I'm going to start off with this movie that I watched this week. Let's get there. Hold on. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Okay, so this movie was on the line. I watched it this week. This is the new movie French Girl, starring who you see here on the poster, Zach Braff, Eveline Brochu, and Vanessa Hudgens. Basically, Zach Braff and his girlfriend have been together for a few years. The girlfriend is a chef.
Is she French?
She is French.
Oh.
La la. She gets an opportunity to come try out and cook to be a chef at this new restaurant in Canada.
It looks like Hogwarts, that poster.
It's a chateau whatever in Quebec, Canada. So that's why they speak Frenchies. And the lady, though, who owns the restaurant and who will be running it is Vanessa Hudgens. We find out through a series of events that his girlfriend and Vanessa Hudgens used to be in a relationship together.
And that's why it says menage a what?
I know, and she does not tell Zach Braff. So he's like, what? When he finds out. And
that she used to be Lebanese.
Craziness ensues because...
Do they have a three-way?
No. As you can see, it looks like Vanessa's up to something. She's trying to get her back. He's trying to keep her.
The evil.
There's a lot happening here in this movie. It's kind of a romantic comedy.
Let me guess.
Dramedy.
There's strain put on their relationship.
Strain is put on the relationship.
Feelings that are rekindled.
Yes.
But then realizing what you really have.
Yes.
And then there's mistrust. And then there's deception. Yet they all come up together at the end. And they make up together. And then they end up with who they're supposed to end up with.
They end up with who they're supposed to end up. And everyone lives
happily. They all three end up married together.
After. There you go. It's basically a by-the-numbers little romantic comedy set in Quebec with French and cooking. Nothing super deep or anything. It was a cute movie. I liked it.
Does Zach Braff decorate? Did he direct this one, or is this just a star?
He did not direct this one. He was just a star. It's a fun little movie. It's cute, like you mentioned. It's by the numbers. It's predictable. It's easy to figure out. But it's a super cute movie. And I was saying I like anything but Vanessa Hudgens is in. I will watch it. So this is brought to you by MGM Plus, which you can see on Prime Video now. So we're starting light and
What year did this movie come out?
It came out this year.
It's a brand new movie.
It's a brand new movie. Yeah, it was a new one.
I thought it was an older one.
No, it's a new one that came out on Prime recently.
So it's like new this week.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize it was brand new. I thought it was.
Yeah, it's pretty brand new.
I got you.
It just came out.
He took a break from his insurance commercials or whatever that is.
I think he did.
Right.
So there you go. And, it's one of those comedy of errors where you don't understand all the French. And so crazy things happen and he meets the family and craziness ensues. So there's some good stuff. He does some good comedy stuff. I mean, yeah.
It sounds very much like, on some level, about the My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
A little bit, yes.
Vibe.
Yeah, it's kind of
I know it's not the same story, but...
Yeah. A little bit of that vibe. So if you like Vanessa, if you like Eveline Brochu, who you would have seen in... what's that show that she was in? No, people will know her from. Oh, I forgot what it's called. No, she's in this thing. Orphan Black rose recently. Yeah. So if you like her, if you have la française, parlez français, s'il vous plaît, or if you like Zach Braff because he's funny, there you go. All right, we're moving on Tell me about this one. I'm on the wrong. I'm on the wrong.
I don't know which
thing.
one we're talking about.
Hold on.
I have to wait for her to tell me what we're talking about because she just
That's
said.
correct.
She said, "Excuse me," and she's not ready for things.
We're going here. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. The next one is the latest Jeff Nichols movie, The Bikeriders, which is funny because when I first started hearing about this, I didn't pay much attention, and I thought it was a documentary. Then I thought it was kind of an Easy Rider thing, and so I didn't have as much interest until I realized the subject matter, and then realized Tom Hardy was in it. Well, then I became a lot more interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who Jeff Nichols is, he directed the movie Mud with Matthew McConaughey. Movie I thought was awesome, Midnight Special with
I was gonna say
Michael
Mud.
Shea.
We watched Mud like 20 times.
Oh, when I was at the gym?
Yes.
We used to go to a gym in the cardio room. They had a theater cardio room, which was awesome.
Which was nice. They had
So
a big screen room, tons of bikes and treadmills.
And it had like
all
15 TVs, and they had movies that just cycled. Like, it was whatever big movies that were kind of out, they cycled through the channel. But you had no control of them. It's whatever was playing is what was playing.
But I guess that time when we went every night was the time that Mud would cycle back on. I've seen Mud 30
I've
times.
seen Mud a whole bunch of times.
Yes.
It's an excellent movie.
Yeah.
But not a movie I want to watch that many
Not
times.
20
I had
times.
probably seen Mud more than I've ever seen any other movie because of that gym.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
He also did Midnight Special with Michael Shannon that I love. So anyway, so this movie is loosely based on a true story. It's based on a photograph book that what is his name? Hold on, where's he at? Danny Lyon put out a photo book called The Bikeriders, where he followed around the Outlaws motorcycle gang. And so this movie is loosely based on the stories that he tells, that book, the photos that are in the book.
Yeah.
But it is following a fictional motorcycle game called I just went blank. What are they called? Vandals. Thank you. They're called the Vandals instead of the Outlaws. So it's pretty close because there's like some photos and stuff up in the book at the end, and they match it perfectly.
He tried to match. A lot of the characters do match some of the photos of the real bike gang.
Yeah.
members.
So it's inspired. No telling how much actually happened. They probably did that too because they don't want to get anybody in trouble for any murders or any kind of issues that may have happened.
Anything that may have happened.
But it's not just a normal motorcycle gang movie.
No.
What it's following is the era before the motorcycle clubs kind of became like violent drug running, gun running gangs. Like a lot of them, people look at them as today. This was just kind of a bunch of guys who were obsessed with motorcycles. They were kind of misfits and outcasts that just kind of found a family together. Sure, they got in trouble for speeding and they might get in a fight here and there, but they weren't out committing crimes. And this kind of follows an early variation, and as it evolved or devolved into the new generation coming in and kind of changing it. And at the same time, it's following the love story really between the lady played by Jodie Comer and Austin Butler, who was kind of this wild child, almost heartless type member of the gang. Tom Hardy plays like the leader. So it's kind of following like that thing. So it's not like a heavy action. It's kind of a drama. It's a talkie. And I've been really, really wanting to see this once I knew the concept. I love movies about motorcycle gangs and TV shows, especially like the old 70s stuff. So I was looking forward to this. So anyway, that being said, what did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought it was at some point just a lot of talking because it's the guy that wrote the book and did the photo book and wrote the stories. He's interviewing people and he's following the lady around, Jodie Comer. He's following her around mostly and just recording and interviewing and taking pictures. And so it's a lot of talking, but she does kind of delve into the story. So I did like it. There's some points of this where it's just really sad.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just kind of sad because a lot of these guys are just lonely or they're loners or they don't really fit in anywhere. They're trying to find a family, which they do find. But then Austin Butler's character and then their relationship to me is just kind of sad too. Like, I think they really cared about each other, but neither one of them knew how to properly express it and how to carry on a decent relationship. So it's kind of a fractured throughout.
Dysfunctional, abusive, but loving and confusing. And it looked like he clearly had issues opening up and being able to fully give himself to someone. she was willing to fully get into it, but didn't understand the world that he lived in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was two people out of place.
Yeah.
With two people that didn't match. This is literally the opposite track situation.
Very.
I agree. I really like this.
I know
movie.
you really
I really liked it. But again, part of that is my love of this kind of genre.
This is your jam. This is not really my jam.
Yeah, the genre. I just love this kind of stuff. It is a fantastic movie with some fantastic performances. But I also recognize what you're saying. I can see it being a movie that people would be like, are we going anywhere? Because it's kind of a real life movie.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not a super fan of real life movies. Yeah,
you tend to get not lost. You tend to lose interest.
Yeah.
If it sticks to real life too long, because you want to take out of the real life world.
That's why I go to movies. Yeah. I am basically Nicole Kidman at the beginning of AMC. She's like, we come to what to experience movies, to experience life.
And I do that too.
Like, but that's why I'm there.
I think that's why I like these stories. But I think my love of the motorcycle and even I like anything with like gangs and stuff like this. And you know, there was an era of my life that I was kind of involved in some of that stuff. But I think my obsession is really the horror and the beauty of the brotherhood, but the dysfunction, the honor and the code, but also the violence and so it's that weird world that the normal person doesn't get to be a part of and will never understand. And in a non-connecting way whatsoever, I think our martial arts world is very similar. Where we have, well, we're not walking around driving motorcycles, but we have rules that we follow and codes that we follow and respect and a hierarchy. Yeah. And, you know, I have people I answer to and I have people that answer to me. And so I think maybe because of that structure, I just connect to this kind of thing. Yeah. And then seeing the potential of somebody walking over, smashing a bottle over somebody's head and ready for a bar fight, I'm all there for.
You like that kind of, that's stuff you're ready for. Like.
You know, but I think what I loved about this movie is it was a different take on this kind of thing, because normally when you watch any kind of movie that follows a motorcycle club, whether it's the Sons of Anarchy or Mayans TV show or some of the old 70s, 80s, or 60s, 70s movies about them, they're always criminals. They're always fighting. It's always violence. It's always this. Or they're always the rude bad guys harassing a lady or something like that. Where this, you're seeing a different side of them. You're seeing they're people that were just finding a place and kind of found their own home, and seeing how that world was kind of slapped by the disrespect of the next generation and how they could see
it. And they turned it more violent.
Yeah.
It was very violent. Like I won't spoil it. Oops, did I change that? No, I didn't. But you know, there's the one scene where he's like, okay, let's settle this. You want fists or knives?
I love that.
And then the other guy breaks the rules. And I'm just like, dude.
And you knew he was going to.
That's so disrespectful. I wasn't expecting that, such a jarring thing. I was expecting.
Really? I was waiting.
I was expecting something different.
Oh, no. Yeah, I knew that was coming right away.
I was just like, man, these people. And then, you see it escalate into further violence and craziness, and then get one group fighting another group. And
I think a lot of that is kind of the similar in the world of, say, like the mafia, that we don't discuss them, they don't exist kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
You think about like the really old movies and the Godfathers and the Goodfellas, not that old, but movies like that, and you think about the stories of their code and their respect, and you don't step on this and stuff. Then there's those younger people that are coming in that they just want to make that money. They may be a little more violent, and they lose the code, and it's the disrespect of the OG people, and it takes it to another place which no longer has honor and all that kind of stuff, you know. So this movie kind of delves into that. But again, it's also about that love relationship that is a dysfunctional relationship. And I actually really liked, since it's based on the book, they followed the idea of that book being made.
Yes.
He's a secondary character, but he's primary to the story.
Yeah, because he's the one who, like, well, tell me about this time. And so then she goes into the story and we see it happening.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, what does that mean? Or what happened to so-and-so? And then you see kind of the thing, and then you see the photos of the people, and you're like, he's actually really important to the story. Like you said, he's just there with his microphone.
Initially, I was kind of annoyed by that aspect of the story.
Yeah.
Until I saw how it kind of wrapped things together.
Yeah.
And then, because I was just like, just tell us a story. We don't need to keep hearing about his interviews. But it's very pivotal to the way this story is told. And I also really like there's a very smart performance slash setup that has perfect end caps for the journey between these two people of Austin Butler and Jodie Comer and their relationship. Like there's discussion about I've never seen him do this such and such, and you see him do it, and then you never see people smile, and then you see somebody smile. It's like he doesn't smile in the whole movie, and then when you finally see it,
he
has
barely
purpose.
talks.
Yeah, when you finally see something like that, it has this impact. You're like, oh. That he's in a different place, or it's different thing is going to happen, or something bad is going to happen, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then she kind of smiles too because finally she sees him smile, and then you see she got just a little smile, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I really liked Tom Hardy in this.
Tom Hardy's fantastic.
He looks like he works with this whole slick back thing and just being a biker dude.
He's very. I think I mentioned about his performances. He exudes leader. Like you can see why this guy's a leader, but he never raises his voice. He's very subtle. He has a swagger to him, but he's calm. He's always trying to diffuse the situation because he doesn't want violence, but he'll be the first one to headbutt you.
Heck yeah.
And he's one of the people that like twice in the movie is like fist or knives, and that world too reminds me of when I was in school as a kid, and I remember my generation's a generation where it started really switching a little bit more, where two people could fight outside after school, and the next day you can be friends.
Correct.
And I remember when those fights started turning people trying to shoot each other, and with my junior, senior year, that's when that transition started becoming more common.
Crazy.
Whereas you didn't know, you'd be outside with two people in a fight, and all of a sudden you hear gunshots, and you're like, okay, this is not okay anymore. I don't want to go to the bike rack after school, Yeah. So it used to be like, there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, I ain't going out there. There's going to be a fight.
Fight Big Dolores.
But he carries himself in a way that belongs in this time period.
Yeah.
But you kind of fear him.
Yeah.
Without him ever doing anything to be afraid of.
Correct. Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And then Austin Butler, I know you think really fits the time period.
He is like a new generation James Dean.
He is.
I just hope he doesn't.
Cool.
Yeah, I just hope he has a little more range than James Dean did, I think he does. I think he's doing something.
But it is interesting because he even did that other piece about the airplanes. It's even a period piece.
Did you watch that?
No,
okay.
We need to. It's on Apple, right? I think.
But I mean, yeah, seeing him in this.
I hope he doesn't get stuck into the period. The time.
Well, he did Elvis, and he's done this. He's done a lot of other stuff, but these two.
I know. Well, like Elvis, I like him in Shannara Chronicles.
Well, this and Elvis are similar in tone of performance, but he took a whole different approach in Dune.
True.
And he
Dune was actually really good. So
he is so good in that role.
So yeah.
So, and I'm glad we're finally talking like Elvis all the time.
Well,
he was kind of stuck that way.
He got stuck.
Yeah. For anybody in here, he had to get like a dialect coach to help him get out of that voice.
First to get into it, then to get out of it.
Yeah, because he got stuck. I know a lot of people made fun of him in interviews and stuff like, oh, he still thinks he's Elvis, and he was talking about like I couldn't get out of that speech pattern.
I think it's like what's her name right now with Glenda. Being all happy, bubbly, Ariana Grande.
Oh,
she got stuck in it too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
but she annoys me in life anyway.
I know. She's like, so people were talking about her. I think that happens. You get so into it that it's hard to get out of it.
Well, and bringing down the room, that's kind of the talk of what happened to Heath Ledger, is he got so dark into playing the role of the Joker and trying to really get in that headspace, and it probably there's a lot of assumptions because he stayed in character that might have contributed to the darkness and him taking more drugs and trying to cope with the darkness afterwards, and why he had the overdose. And
it's really interesting, actually. Okay, so where can I see this?
It is available now on the Blu-ray and 4K. It's probably streaming somewhere.
Okay.
Probably.
Yes. We'll talk. Well, I think it's coming up on my list later.
Hold on. Let me tell you who put it at. Is this Universal? If it's Universal, it's on Peacock.
Okay,
it is streaming now on Peacock.
Just a quick side note about talking about that whole people that they get it. You get so deep into the characters. Really interesting. I've been watching a lot of the actors roundtables. I got stuck in a hole, and now they keep playing one after another. But it's interesting. So back like probably that was a good example of Heath Ledger. But even like what's her name from The Room that nobody likes?
Brie Larson.
Yeah, Brie Larson. She was saying it took her a year to really get out of that, because being confined in a small space, that it's like she couldn't even leave her house. She was kind of freaked out and just being in that headspace. But it's interesting, we go from that to now there's a new movie or a newer show And now the actress was like, I asked for a therapist to be on set.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how evolved we are. And all the other actresses are like, what? You can do that? She's like, yeah. She's like, if you want me to be in this film, and I know like there's a big death scene or whatever coming up and it's going to impact everyone, we need a therapist on set. So they're like, who knew we could do that?
You know,
so
and I think there's also a mentality of people outside of that universe that don't get it. They don't understand what's the big deal. You're just an actor. But you don't understand that you're so engulfing your brain and your reading and your mentality and your behavior into this world. Like, there's been so many stories of actors that marriages have ended because of a role they did. And like, what was it? Silent Night, the guy, you know, then he loses his voice, that John Woo movie or whatever it was. He talked about, like, he had to have a talk with his wife about this because he was not going to speak for the entire filming of this because he needed to get into the headspace of not being able to speak. Because if he did, he was going to want to talk all the time. It was harder for the performance.
Yeah.
So he's like, I had to have a conversation with my wife. So this is going to be hard. I'm not going to communicate. I'm going to write stuff down. I'm going to do this. And so she had to understand it with him. And I think that's where a lot of them go wrong. And people are like, you're just acting. Go out there and act. But that's not how this works. Like, when you see somebody that's really good in a performance, it's because they put a lot into it. It's just like music and sports and anything else. People get hurt. A lot of times, sadly, people get on drugs or whatever because sometimes they get to where that's the only thing they can cope with, or they find this dark place and they can't get out of it. And it seems dumb because of what it's connected to. But it's just like real life. If you're in a traumatic situation, people start drinking or people do drugs or people do whatever, and they can't get out of that because of a breakup or something as silly that anybody else would be like, dude, just get over it. It's just a girl.
Yeah.
But it puts you in that place. And when you're filming a movie or something, or even a stage production or a play or whatever, they're in that same headspace for months. It's not a day or two. You know, it's months, day in, day out.
You're in that person.
You know, and there's two sides of that. You're stuck in that headspace, but you can get out of it and go home and be happy with your family, but then you struggle to get back in that headspace, and then you have an uneven performance. So then you all in, and then you cause problems at home. So it's that trying to find balance for people doing these kind of performances.
Yeah. So they were doing, they said, you know, some of the other things that people do, like, it was a drama actress, whatever. So like Jennifer Garner with this last show that I was just watching on Apple. That's why I was finishing it, because I saw her talk about it. She's like, so then at the very end, when you get to the certain point, she's like, and they're cut. She's like, okay, I'm going to go cry in my trailer now, because she needed to get it out, because he got to a point in the scene where it's like, you're there, but you can't cry yet until the next day. She's like, I had to go cry to get over it. And it's interesting. The lady from the new House of Dragons, Emma Darcy, I can't even say it. Anyways, it's interesting because she in real life looks nothing like the lady. Once you take her out of hair and makeup, she's got dark hair. She's very fair skin, doesn't even wear makeup. She's non-binary, so she doesn't necessarily dress like a woman or, you know, very sexy or anything. She's very just kind of demure and just mellow. And the effect of the franchise that is the whole, not just House of Dragons, but Game of Thrones, and how that impacts her life when she is so separated from it physically, but emotionally she's tied to it. Yeah. Like, she's like, nobody recognizes me. She's like, I can go anywhere. I don't look like it. I don't dress like that. Nothing. My hair is different color. Don't wear makeup. She goes, but then you hear it, you see comments, and she's like, I'm still emotionally tied to the character because I have to get into it, deep into it every day when they're filming. She goes, but physically, so that's a weird thing for her. Yeah. So it was interesting because Jennifer Garner's like, everybody knows who I am. She goes, I cannot go anywhere. She goes, the only place that she's not recognized and no one bothers her is like Disney World, because there's so many people.
Yeah, but that's funny
so
you say
she's
that.
Like, it's really
I've always
interesting.
thought about that, because you always see these things about celebrities at Disney and stuff, and you're like, why are they not bombarded? But people are usually so... Disney
probably wouldn't allow it.
Well,
people are at Disney World.
I'm sure they have security around them sometimes too, but you also think people are so or focused on the whatever. And who was it? I was watching.
I just thought that was a really interesting thing between the two of them. And she told Emma, she's like, just call Jennifer Garner if you need me.
Who was it? There was a celebrity. Maybe it was Kevin Bacon that talked about he went somewhere and nobody recognized him.
Really? How's
he
that
said
possible?
He walked around wherever, it was another country,
Oh,
He
that's
walked
probably
around
why.
forever. He goes, nobody's talked to him. Nobody recognized
I'm
him.
hot. Sorry.
And they're like, how did you like it? He goes, I hated it. He goes, I
Really?
thought I was going to love it. He goes, but I'm so used to being known.
Yeah.
And then you get treated a certain way that he goes, and it sounds pretentious. He goes,
It
but
is.
when I'm just Kevin or whoever, it may not be Kevin, but he was one of those guys. He goes, and I'm just that guy. I'm just walking around like,
What's wrong?
he goes, what it did, he goes, it wasn't that I didn't enjoy having the peace and quiet.
Yes.
It was, I suddenly felt I wasn't famous anymore.
Yeah.
And am I losing everything? Did I fail something? Am I now, is it going backwards? I've lost everything I built towards. He goes, because now you're so used to that mentality of fame and celebration. And even though you hate that they violate your privacy all the time, but then when it's gone, you're like, but don't you care about who I am anymore? And he goes, and it's not the fame part. It's watching work go away and watching you not get to be do what made you famous any longer. And he goes, and it had nothing to do with that. He goes, it was just a country that just didn't give a crap.
Yeah, they probably don't
He goes, but it's very
and it's
self-conscious.
really interesting, that whole thing, because remember, like, the whole Ben and Jennifer Lopez. Ben Affleck, he's like, I don't care about being rich or famous. He's like, I just want to make good movies.
Yeah.
But then you go with the Jennifer Lopez route, and they cannot go anywhere. And she doesn't care, doesn't bother her, or maybe she welcomes it, but he doesn't. And so that's created issue.
That created the problem the first time, too.
Yeah. This whole thing, it's really interesting. Anywho, we got off topic.
Yeah, the Bikeriders is available now on Peacock, Blu-ray.
No, it's just really interesting. And if you watch these interviews, these people are just normal people.
Yeah.
Just doing their job. And, yeah, what we do to them.
I really don't get why the public at large turns on everybody so bad, whether it's a sports figure, an actor, a musician.
Yeah.
They yell at them and they hold them. Well, they hold them above everybody.
I need to grab.
But then they're mad because
my phone fell.
They hold them above everybody. They look at them as these people and these rich people and this and super. Then they get mad that they're held above everybody. But then they start being treated like, well, just because you're this, you now no longer can be a person.
Yeah.
You can no longer have an opinion.
You don't get an opinion.
You know, if you say something, it's the famous statement of, if you say something about politics and you're famous, shut up and dribble. You know, you're a basketball player. Nobody needs to listen to you talk. But if you don't say anything, why are you not using your platform? Why are you not saying anything? You know, it's like there's a lot of drama with like the Blake Lively thing with the interviewers and all this stuff. And I know one of the issues, people were complaining that she was kind of bubbly in interviews, but they're like, but this movie is about abuse and she should be taking this platform to fight against abuse. Oh my gosh. And there's a whole nother issue before people start saying that's not the problem. I know, I understand all the issue. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm just saying. Anyway.
The issue was that the movie was not as good as the book.
Well, the movie is making a buttload of money.
According to our child, who is a fervent reader, she reads a lot. She just asked me, did you read this other series? They're making a show. You need to read it now. And I'm like, it's a 4-book series. Okay.
She read the book right before she went and saw that movie.
She read the book the day before. Like, she read the whole book the day before.
And to show how awesome my daughter is, she also did a double feature on the same day and watched that and then went and watched Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. So good for her.
And Deadpool and Wolverine was better.
She's good people. All right, let's move on to our next movie.
Next movie is
Duchess.
Yes, this is the latest movie from Neil Marshall.
Yes.
Who directed one of my all-time favorite werewolf movies, Dog Soldiers.
Oh.
He did Dog Soldiers. He did The Descent.
Oh.
He did the Hellboy remake that didn't get enough love. I think it's a great version of Hellboy. So anyway, but this is going back into the action, revenge, thriller kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tell us what it's about.
So it's a movie about this lovely lady here. What's her name?
Her name was Charlotte Kirk, I believe.
Hi, Charlotte Kirk. Anyways,
Let me read the synopsis.
Basically, he did her wrong, and she's gonna go get him.
Sort of.
Kind of.
So this essentially is a love story. The first half. Because she meets this guy who ends up being this crook, a thief. They fall in love. They become a relationship. And then his world catches up to him. And after circumstances, she decides she's going to go get revenge on the people that interfered in their lives.
Jacked up the relationship with her man.
Yes.
And then the other guy, and she's like, mm-mm.
So what did you think of this?
Mm-mm. I really like this, and I love this lady. This is not a talkie. This is an action beat 'em up lady revenge flick, and it was good. I liked her. She tough. For a minute, she gave me vibes of what's her name from. Oh Lord, never mind. I'm not going to go there. But anyways,
that's a lot of build up for nothing. Go ahead.
No, I like her. She was awesome. There's lots of good action. There's some good fight stuff. There's some good shooting things. There's a little bit of blood and guts. Not bad. And I like that she's like, you did me wrong. I'm going to go get you. And she goes after that other dude. A dude. And then when they have them all locked up and chained up, and she's like, no, I'll never do it. And then he's like, whatever, I'm going to kill you. She's like, I'm going to, not if I kill you first. And he's like, how are you going to kill me? You're all tied up in a chair. But,
All right, so let me tell you my problems with this movie.
That's a dramatic reenactment.
So I have some issues with this movie.
Okay.
I did enjoy the movie as a whole.
Is it because it's girl power?
No. I actually love a good, powerful female story when women kick ass.
Sorry, I got a little excited there.
And I love Neil Marshall stuff. I love The Descent. I love Dog Soldiers. Like I said, I loved his Hellboy movie. It had some issues, but overall I loved it. I wanted to love this movie, but I didn't love this movie, but I did like it. So here's where my bigger issues with, and they're really more, I like everything you said.
Yes.
This is not the movie I thought it was going to be. This isn't really a revenge flick movie. Like, it's kind of pushed. It's really more of a love story that turns into a crime story. And one of my biggest issues is she is not, it's the idea of normally it's very convenient storytelling with, this person just happens to be this. So I think one of my big issues, she makes a big transition of just an average chick who's in love with this guy, doesn't really have any kind of...
Was she like a stripper?
Yeah, she was a stripper or a prostitute or something. So she had no training of killing and fighting and all that stuff.
Well, I don't know.
But
I know what they're doing.
I'm talking about to this level that she goes. But there's a very quick change where she's suddenly this badass, and she's also like the leader of this criminal empire. And I thought that was like a little too rushed and felt like, really, I'm supposed to believe this lady suddenly goes from this scene of, oh my God, we're all going to die, to I'm going to kill everybody. You know, there was that disconnect. It was kind of like that movie Peppermint. I had that same issue where there's a disconnect, something that needed to be done. And maybe it needed to jump and say 3 years later, and we see her as opposed to 15 minutes later, she's violent, you know. And my other big issue is I hated the villains. I thought they were kind of weak. I didn't feel like there was any...
That one guy?
Well, both of the kind of lead guys that are supposed to... I didn't feel like there was any danger to them. I didn't feel like they didn't really put up any kind of a fight really to anything. So I felt like they were just kind of like... They felt like henchmen instead of having a leader that was behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the guys, you watch them fight a little bit, have a couple fight scenes with them, kill them before you get to the boss.
This guy.
You know, so...
He felt henchman-y instead of leader.
Yeah, both of them. There's him and there's one other guy, too, they were kind of two main ones.
Yeah.
Again, I did enjoy the movie, and I liked her. I think it just... I think there were some pacing issues, too, but it just... I think there was a lot of the stuff there that the twist you kind of see coming a mile away. You know, there's nothing really deep here, so it's not trying to be, but I wanted more to learn about how is she suddenly connected to this and doing more, and I felt like there was a whole time jump that didn't actually happen that we missed and needed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like how she suddenly knows how to use all these guns and poisons and fighting.
But even forget, I can almost let that go because there's people around her that could have been off screen. But also the mentality change to go from just scared, you know, she's a prostitute or whatever, so obviously she had seen some dangerous things, but scared when they're getting shot at and somebody's trying to kill and she's confused and whatever, to suddenly standing up to people like it was nothing, you know.
That other guy messed up her life.
I get that. The switch was too sudden.
But the love she had for her man is like, I'm going to get revenge on this other guy for messing up our life.
I get that. I just felt like...
if someone came in and messed up our life and something happened to you, I would go get them. Don't worry. I'll Duchess them. I'll go all crazy on them and be like...
I think she made too big of a transition to suddenly be a crime boss from a nobody.
Well,
so
you know, but you know, at the end, it ends... Well, okay, never mind. We won't spoil it, but anyways, it was good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty awesome because I like me a tough woman action flick.
And I was excited because I thought it was gonna be a full on revenge flick, and it's not. There's vengeance based behind her purpose,
revenge,
but it's really more of her taking over a criminal empire.
Little girl power,
And so I think that's where it kind of. If I knew it was going to be kind of more about her rise,
I may have to just watch it again, make sure.
If I knew it was probably more about her rise to becoming.
I think that was not necessarily her first priority. It was revenge.
No, it wasn't. But that's what the movie
evolved.
focused on. That's where my issue is. The movie focused more on her taking over the business, and the vengeance kind of becomes secondary. In my mind, the vengeance should have been important. The pure focus made her make stupid decisions because she wanted vengeance. That then led to like, okay, she's done all this stuff. She's become more badass over this time. Maybe get her ass whooped a bunch of times, and she's accidentally been able to kill somebody that shouldn't have been able to kill. And it's just the way the story played out didn't work as much for me. But again, it's still a good movie.
She did good.
Yeah, it's still a good movie. It's just not the movie.
I don't know what else she does.
Yeah, it's not the movie I thought it was going to be, and not all of it worked. But at the same time, I did enjoy it.
There you go. All right.
It is available now in UK cinemas.
Okay.
Or in digital.
All right. Nice.
If you're not in the UK, then you're probably going to have to watch it on digital.
All right. We're going here. Oh, my gosh.
So this next movie is a movie I was really on the fence about because the trailers and the idea and the cast all had me ready.
Yeah.
But this promotional piece and the poster looks stupid.
It looks scratch off.
I know it looked cheap. It looks silly. It looks kind of weird.
And it's also brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
I get that. I get all that.
You can still use the Buffalo Wild Wings discount if you go online and order food to go on Buffalo Wild Wings to go.
It's a movie called Jackpot.
Order at least $15 and use the special code GOBONELESS for 10 free boneless wings.
What?
Also go to the jackpot.com and enter the Buffalo Wild Wings contest to win $5,000, which is equivalent to a year's supply of wings.
They're not a supporter of this channel.
But they're a supporter of this movie in conjunction with John Cena.
I know.
Promotion of this movie.
So anyway, it's a movie called Jackpot starring John Cena, Awkwafina, and it's directed by Paul Feig, who did Bridesmaids, Spy. He did the Ghostbusters movie that most people bash, which I think is fine.
Ghostbusters.
So it's an action comedy. So with this cast and him involved, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to let this weird poster go.
It's a scratch off.
I know, but the poster just doesn't look good. It looks cheap to me. It looks like something you would see on a straight-to-video movie.
Okay.
Like I'd go rent the latest Don the Dragon Wilson movie, and this is the kind of poster I would expect, not a movie with John Cena and Awkwafina by Paul Feig.
On Prime Video.
Yeah. But, and it did get released straight to Prime Video, but let me tell you, this movie is a blast.
This is like the funnest movie so far. I really liked it. It gets straight into it. It lays out the ground rules, and the rules are dumb and crazy, and we just go for it.
So its basic premise is it's kind of like the Purge mentality, where it's the future, if you will, but they have what's called the Grand Lottery. And when you win the lottery, it's only in California,
of course,
which makes more sense. When you win the lottery, they have till sundown that anybody can come kill you and claim your lottery. And if they can kill you and take your little ticket, then they win the lottery.
Correct.
But if you survive, then you win the lottery.
Right. And it's only one kill. It's not I kill you, then the next person.
We wondered that too, like, well, because she was like, the movie opened showing a different lottery, so you can kind of get the idea with a special guest star that we didn't know was going to be in the movie that was fun. Straight up action sequence. And then she's like, well, okay, well, they killed them. Why don't you just kill her? And then you kill him. And then, because then it'll be over and over.
It's only one kill. Whoever kills the winner first, and you break the ticket, you win it.
So the premise basically is Awkwafina, who's new to LA. She just came back. She's been gone. She's a child actor who's now grown up, trying to get back into the business. John Cena is a character named Noel, who is a lottery protection agent, which he freelances protecting people to survive through their lottery for 10% of the winnings.
Correct.
And they're also having to deal with a bigger organization run by Lewis, who is Simu Liu, Shang-Chi himself, who was also with Awkwafina in that film, as another lottery protection specialist. And basically the movie is just a long series of action sequences, ridiculous behavior, comedy, fun banter between these two, and just a hell of a good time.
It is so fun. It's there are some moments that are totally over the top.
Oh, they're stupid
and unnecessary, and you can tell some people are flying through the air on a wire, and I don't even care. This movie is so much fun.
It is
It's
a fun,
just
fun movie.
nonstop fun and action, and there is a good story with some emotion and some heart in there too. But overall, it's just a lot of fun, and I love Awkwafina wearing this crazy gold outfit.
It works perfect for the ridiculousness of the movie.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny, and the idea that she has no idea what's going on at first is just like she's like, "What's going on, guys?" Like, you know, it's just so crazy. And John Cena shows up beautifully dressed in a suit, but with white tennis shoe socks and dress shoes, and I'm like, that's the worst thing: white socks with dress shoes.
But and so
hilarious.
John Cena's really great at comedic timing, as well being a straight man, despite being a hulking action star, and he can do both. And I think the banter between him and Awkwafina throughout this movie is why this movie works so great, is because some of the best lines are just really dry throwaway lines that had me dying out loud.
It's crazy.
And then there's just such a variety of action sequences. Like one of the best action scenes of the whole movie is John Cena fighting an entire karate club of people that ends up fighting an entire yoga club full of people, with her trying to be, because she's also a certified stage fighting instructor.
Yeah.
So she can fight, but not for real.
Not really hitting people. So she's like, sorry.
So she'll throw punches and all this stuff, be like, but never hit anybody.
So and then when she accidentally does, she's like, I'm sorry.
Movie, so the last act of the movie gets a little ridiculous and over the top and kind of more stupid than the rest
Karate
of it.
School is fun.
But it is such a great movie. It is so fun.
It is a lot of fun.
There's a little tag at the end, because it also goes old school bloopers through the credits, so you can watch him making mistakes and the fun stuff. And then there's a tag at the end that's kind of like an advertisement for the lottery that could just be a fun ending, or it also could be teasing more variations of this same film in different states, because I think the tag is talking about expanding it.
Yeah.
So we could go to different states with new people and new characters and do different stuff. But this was a fantastically fun movie.
It was. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy. It's over the top. It's Awkwafina, but that's her.
I think it also works because it knows what movie it is.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be a serious action movie. It's trying to be ridiculous fun. This is a turn your brain off, just have a blast.
Yes.
I'm glad it was on streaming. I think it works perfect for this format. But it just works. It's if you want a fun movie with tons of action and laughs and just stupid behavior, this is this movie, because it's a funny movie without being a parody.
Yes.
It's kind of original.
Serious.
Yeah, it's kind of original, even though it's stuff we've seen before. But I had a blast. I like this movie.
I really liked it. I want to watch it again right now.
Too.
All right. Moving on to another online streaming movie that came out this week.
Did you not put the other one on there?
Which one?
Never mind. If it's not on there, we'll talk about it next week.
Oh no, was it on the list?
I think so. Or maybe I took it off because we. Oh, I took it off because I didn't think we were going to watch it. Okay, never mind. We'll talk about it later.
We'll catch it up. This is the new Netflix movie of the week, The Union.
What is this movie about?
This is about Halle Berry.
It's about Halle Berry
eating Wahlburgers hamburgers because her friend Mark Wahlberg sent the Wahlburgers truck to her house.
Yeah, she posted a video on Instagram because I guess she jokingly said
she's like,
that,
I've never had a Wahlburger.
Yeah, she's like, when is it coming to my? He sent the entire Wahlburger food truck to her home.
That's so funny. So you see like the whole neighborhood's out there like getting burgers and drinks.
And she calls him like, why are you sending? He goes, I told you I was going to. She goes, I was kidding.
Anyways, this was a fun action adventure. Halle Berry is a secret agent, and she needs help. And who else is she going to call but her high school sweetheart, Mark Wahlberg, to come and help out?
It's kind of the premise is stupid. It's one of those.
Wow. Rare.
What? Oh no! Seriously? Sorry. That's okay. Sorry, I got distracted by something. This could be the biggest news ever if it actually happens. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Let me looking at it.
Okay.
Anyway, the idea is kind of stupid in context of what they're doing and why they come. But we've seen these movies before. They take people that are not in the spy game or the action genre, the everyday man gets thrust into a situation. And every one of those is stupid because they never really make sense of what would really happen. So you got to buy into that part of it. Once you buy into that, it works. The movies, I enjoyed this movie. I think it's a little long.
Maybe. I really liked it, but remember, they gave him 2 weeks of training.
I know. They did, and I give them credit.
At least they did training.
I give them credit for that. They gave him training. There's even a scene where he jumps out of a car and he goes, I remember the training. I just screamed and jumped out of the car. And I'm like, that's how somebody would behave that don't really know what they're doing.
Correct. That would I do.
But there's also a side where he's suddenly a little more of a badass than he probably would have been.
Yeah.
But you can also, some of that kind of thing, you can, and this isn't a man or woman thing, because she's the badass in this movie. Mm-hmm. But you can almost just throw some of that out when it's closer to the end of the movie when they start getting a badass, because you're like, okay, they've been getting shot at this whole movie. They've been running this whole movie. Eventually they're going to be like, I am tired of this, and getting a little braver and starting to fight back. And but that's, I think my issue is the movie, I think there's some dragging on a little bit where it could have been tightened up a little bit. But not in a bad way. I enjoyed it. It was pretty generic action flick. But it was fine.
I liked it. I think it is a little generic, but I'm okay with that. You know, because they've created like the Union, this on its own kind of secret agency that could be operating anywhere, doing anything. So, I mean, you could have like 50 of these movies.
Well,
or you could make a series of them, you know, TV series, and it would be, you know.
What I was trying to look at over here with you saying that was I saw a clip pop up, and then I never did go look at it, about Mark Wahlberg talking about potential sequels for this. Because I could see this one being kind of a franchise for Netflix.
Yeah.
I think Netflix is also a great place for this because
it is.
I
think it felt perfect there. And it wasn't, you know, like low budget or anything. It's a really good full budget script or a movie. And it showed that, you know, Halle Berry, one of the things she said in interviews, like she was so impressed that Netflix or whoever put the money into it to send them on location. Like there's no green screen. They're in London. They're in wherever they are, Croatia. They're in whatever country, like actually filming, doing the work, being, you know, in the city, getting the vibes of it. So I think it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a good action
flick. I like
flick.
anything Halle Berry does, and I'm hit and miss on Mark Wahlberg, but lately he's been winning me over.
This is Mark Wahlberg in every Mark Wahlberg movie, action wise. There's nothing there.
Running around shooting some stuff.
I like Halle Berry, especially in that action role. We don't see. I don't think we see enough Halle Berry.
Correct.
And I like her in this role. And seeing what I will say is this movie struggles a little bit in some of the action choreography. Only because she has such high, pristine choreography in John Wick that in this one she felt a little more clunky. And so I had my higher expectations of her, some of her fighting and some of the stuff, because we've been spoiled by the best.
Yeah.
And when you have different fight choreographers, she's not a real life fighter. So you got to remember that you're not seeing the people that trained her for John Wick. You're seeing a different group of people who train her. She does fine in this movie. The action is well done. It's fine. But that was hard for me to separate because I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen you be way more badass than this. But I also can buy into her being a badass because I've seen her doing another stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's harder to think of Mark Wahlberg is not a badass.
Yeah.
Because we're used to seeing him the badass. But I like when people like him as action stars take that role of not the straight up badass.
Yeah, he's just your everyday guy.
Yeah. It's a fine movie. It's another one of those that's good for a Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have liked it so much in the theater, but I liked it as being a Netflix
I liked
movie.
It felt really good there. So there you go. So
check out The Union, streaming now on the Flicks.
All
Netflix
right.
there is.
One more.
All right, let's talk about the biggest movie of the weekend, Alien Romulus.
And wouldn't that be Deadpool Wolverine?
No, this one knocked it down to number 2.
It did?
Yes, and that was the prediction that they figured it was. So they said that after several weeks at top, Alien Romulus has knocked it down with a $41 million opening, which most people think that's kind of modest for a big franchise. This is actually the second biggest opening ever for an Alien movie, behind Prometheus.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Which opened at $51 million in like 2012, I think it is. But it also only had an $80 million budget.
Oh.
And overseas, which is what's really been unexpected, In China, it's done really, really well, which American movies don't do that well. It made $108 million in China already.
I didn't know they were fans.
But everybody's.
Wow.
China is usually a pretty downgrade of American films. They don't usually score huge over there, but it says it's playing well in China. It's made $108 million global.
Well, good.
So it's already at $49 million. So it's well over the budget, which means this is probably not the last time we're going to see the aliens. And with the discussion of the director, Fede Alvarez, who made Don't Breathe, which we love.
Yes.
He made the Evil Dead remake.
Don't Breathe like that.
He talked in an interview. I think I told you already. He talked in an interview recently. He has an idea for doing a new Predator Alien movie, but he wants to re-team with his buddy David Trachtenberg, I think it is, who made Prey. And maybe split it like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino and each direct half of it.
Yeah. And
create a new idea. And because they're both owned by Disney now, they can do whatever they want. They don't have they don't have the issues they had some in the past where I think there was I want to say originally they were owned by different stuff, but maybe not. Anyway, so Alien Romulus, if you don't know, is the latest chapter. It is a standalone Alien movie, but it does fall into the franchise world. So if you want to know the order, so there's a lot of discrepancies of the editions of Alien Covenant and Prometheus, because Ridley Scott, who directed both those as well as the original Alien movie, always said that they originally were not connected to those because it was a reimagining of his own universe and what he wanted to do and tell the story. By the time Alien Covenant came out, it was pretty obvious that even if this is not directly connected, it is still connected.
Correct.
Now it's kind of been shifted a little bit because there was supposed to be another film from those two. Supposed to be a trilogy, but Covenant did so bad, box office wise, they never made it. And I believe it was going to lead directly into Alien by that point. I think he had backtracked at that point and decided, okay, we'll make it connected.
Gotcha.
So if you look at the timeline now to see where Romulus takes place, you have Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Alien, Alien Romulus, then Aliens, and then Alien 3 and Alien 4.
Gotcha.
And if you look at this stuff, there's some connections to some other things throughout the storylines too. So, and there's a new TV series coming to Hulu called Alien Earth,
which
supposedly takes place even before Prometheus.
Wow. Okay.
Somewhere in that timeline. So I don't know how that's going to work. If Prometheus falls the way it's supposed to fall, it doesn't make sense because that was kind of the birth of everything. So I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see what plays out.
Well, because if you go even further back, Alien versus Predator sets up the idea that aliens were on this planet when the predators would come and hunt them.
Yeah, but if you look at Prometheus and Alien Covenant show the birth of the xenomorphs as we know them today. They didn't exist that way before.
But then how were they here? Well, no, but then in Prometheus and Covenant, we learned that the creatures created, maybe morphed into humans.
Yeah, the maker guys, because the way those makers looked, when they got implanted by the gigantic octopus facehugger,
but that
it created that alien and then it evolved.
No, but that those people were the creators of mankind, supposedly, too. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, but in Covenant is when we see the one, or at the end of
where it creates
Prometheus, it turns into the xenomorphs as we know them now.
Yeah.
So it's like, again,
maybe it's
if you take those two out and go back to what he was saying at the beginning,
that those are separate,
then everything else could be standalone. So
Alien and Predator stands.
Yeah. So anyway, here we are with Alien Romulus. It takes place in between Alien and Aliens, but it is its own movie.
Yes.
It is not connected. It doesn't have any of the same characters. It doesn't. There's some Easter eggs in there that we're not going to spoil. There's some stuff that actually pays homage to Prometheus. There's stuff that pays homage to Alien and Aliens. I think there's even something else in there. Predator or Prey. I think there was something. No, there was something else. Never mind. But there's some other stuff that's connected. It's just like to the other Alien movies, not the Predator stuff. I'm going off in tangents.
Because we watched all the movies.
That's why it's in my brain.
Excuse us.
We did a marathon, but because I watched all the Aliens, she was already doing it. I said, screw it. I just went through all the Predators as well.
Heck yeah, that's the only way.
So anyway,
I'm Team Predator.
This new movie, Alien Prometheus, is following a group of young people who decide to go. I guess they're stranded somewhere and they're waiting to be picked up. They're like colonizers or something like that. And they
were sent there. They've worked their hours. They're ready to be sent home.
And they decided to go, because they were sitting around bored, they decided to go scavenge a ship.
Right.
And then, of course, when they scavenge the ship, they discover more than they bargained for.
Correct. Bum, bum, bum.
So, as someone I know, before we have to go into it, this one, anytime you ask her about the Alien movies, she'll be like, "Oh, I'm a Predator fan."
I'm a Predator fan.
She was not a Predator fan when we met.
Sorry.
I turned her into this, and then she talks to me like I wasn't already a Predator fan long before
you
she
don't
ever
know
was.
anything.
I saw Predator in the theater when I was 13 on my birthday.
Wow.
Fool. So, anyway, what did you think of Alien Romulus?
I enjoyed it. I liked that. I think my favorite thing in this is that we get more face huggers than I've ever wanted, and now I don't want any.
They're creepy, man.
It's creepy as
I don't get creeped out by insects and stuff, but we talked a little bit about this when we left the theater. There's so many face huggers of this running around like giant spiders, and they're not just like in all the other Alien movies outside of Prometheus and the gigantic octopus version of it. They're scurrying and hiding. They kind of look like puppets, and then they just jump at your face. And it's really outside of seeing them come out of the eggs, you don't really get anything from them. This thing is swarms of them. They're climbing on stuff. They're running at you. They're jumping. Like, it's finally getting to see these things like why they're actually terrifying.
Yes.
Before, this is terrifying, but I'm always like, what? Stop. Why did people not just do this when it jumps at you instead of going, ah? That's every movie. Facehugger. Ah.
Yeah.
Right? And this one, you got people that are smacking it out of the way, and there's 13 more.
Yeah, but this one was creepy. So that, I think, was my favorite thing. The thing that I was like meh about is like we have the new Ripley. Sorry, Rain is her name in this. Kaylee Spaney. It's the same thing. But I think Ripley is the same thing in 1 and in 2 and in 3.
As we discussed,
but
all the Alien movies and all the Predator movies are the same.
It is what they're
all the same crap.
Except for Prey, I thought was at least unique, and Predators.
Yeah, but if you really look at it, they're all the same.
I know.
Predators, as you like to say, for some reason instead of Predators. Predators. Predator, Predator 2, Predators.
The Predator.
If anything, the Predator is the only one that's slightly off because it goes way off the rails of goofiness. Trying to add a super predator and all these different things.
That one
I like that. I like all of them, but that one's a little sillier than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Prey is fantastic, but it's the same movie with Arnold, just with a girl that's an Indian. The Alien movies are all the same thing. But here's the thing: is I think because they were trying to capture the essence of those original 2 movies, it does just that.
Yeah.
You feel like it's that same universe. My favorite character in this whole movie, excuse me, is I want to say the actor's name. Where's he at? Hold on.
Which one?
David Johnson.
David Johnson. Yes.
Plays Andy.
So good.
He's just
such
great.
An amazing performance.
So many emotions and changes, and he's kind of at first he's kind of annoying, and we're not going to spoil anything about him, but he starts making he makes a lot of the good and bad choices of the film. But his tone.
I feel like we see 3 distinct personas in that one character.
He is so good.
He's amazing.
This movie had the stereotypical characters you can't stand that are annoying. Like there's one guy that I wanted him to die so bad, and he was there way too long, but he finally did die, just not painfully enough for me. I was glad we got some great xenomorph stuff, but they spent a lot of time with the face huggers, and I was really hoping that. Going into this movie, I was hoping the movie was going to be 90% face huggers and then maybe a few xenomorphs at the very end.
Yeah.
And it ends up being both. Like usually in these Alien movies, by the time the xenomorphs are killing you, we don't see face huggers anymore. These face huggers keep coming back. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I did love this movie, and I think it is up there. I think it really did a great service to the franchise that it's been missing. But I will also say that I felt like it was way too slow for a long time. Like the first half of the movie, I was getting kind of bored. I was like, this needs to go somewhere. But if you think back to the original Alien movie, that movie's the same way. It takes forever for anything to happen. We know what's going to happen now. We've seen that movie so many times. You don't realize how slow it is. You're like, I love this movie. I know what we're building towards. This movie, we know what we want to build towards, and we're having to sit through new characters, a new story, and so that was my only beef with this movie, is that it's very slow initially. It takes too long to get going. So I think it could have been trimmed up a little bit. But once it does get going, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And I will give props to the Alien movies itself, that no matter what time period we're in, whether it's a Prometheus or it's a Part 4 Resurrection, whatever, consistently the set design, the clothing, the time period seems to fit. Like it's very, the continuity with all that. Because, you know, sometimes like when you have like, if you go to episode 1, looks cleaner than like episode 4.
Yeah, because it's the film style.
Yes, but they've done such a good job keeping the sets, that metal look, that
there's a
gray
reason for
tone.
that.
Why? Tell me, because that's one of the things that I appreciate. Like these are not my favorite movies, but that's one of the things that I applaud.
The whole story idea that Fede Alvarez did the pitch with, from what I've read, came up from based on Aliens, which I don't know if you said it was in a script he read or if there was a deleted scene or whatever. But, you know, in Aliens, Ripley finds Newt, right?
Right.
And she's running around the little kid. So apparently there's a scene or an idea of a scene or something where all these kids on this thing having to survive an alien, right? All the kids that were with Newt and whatever. So that's where this idea originally came from.
Some younger people trying to survive.
He went, when he got the green light to make this movie, he went and found as many people that worked on Alien or Aliens to work on this film.
Thank you for doing
that. So set designers, costuming people, special effects. I don't know exactly which ones. I just read that he went to find as many people as he could find that actually worked on either of those movies to create the same aesthetic.
Those are like, what, 30, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, but that's one of the things that I will say. Even Prometheus, which is supposedly way before all this and whatever, they all look consistently the same, that same vibe, the ships, the gray tones, the metal, the structure.
Well, I think the reason Prometheus and Covenant work differently, even though they're a little brighter at times, because they're in a different planet, they're different characters, it's okay.
But all of it, every
other one but this would have been gritty.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. Everything looks good and costuming. Yeah. So that's a good. Thank you, sir, for doing that, because I think it makes a difference as a viewer.
Vader, stop.
You know, whereas like with Predators, you can tell there's some dated things throughout the way the Predator moves the
What I want to know is why do these, in every one of these movies, why do the aliens sweat so much? They're always sweating, dripping.
Did you go look at
They're not even drooling. They're just sweating. And I'm like, why? Do they have some disorder? You know, are they just hot all the time? They're always steaming like a pile of turd. You know when you can put like a really hot turd and it's outside in the cold and it's got steam on it? I don't know
that.
You know, it's like, but they're always smoking. But I will say it's consistent through the entire franchise as well. Is even though each one looks slightly different and usually they take on kind of the...
It says xenomorphs continuously secrete slime. They live in space where the climate is likely arid and mucus dries up quickly, so they're sliming to keep their bodies moist.
So somebody randomly made that up and decided
that's what the AI answer told me. But
oh dear God.
That's why they look so sweaty. But there's whole conversations is like, why do they look so sweaty?
So it's not just me.
No, what are the xenomorph aliens seeping from their skin?
But I always loved it because nothing creeps me out more
slime.
when it shows them and they have that roar they do, but it's that stutter roar where it's like, and as they do it, they're not even, you know, there's the slime from their teeth, you know, and their teeth look like they're wearing a grill. They don't look like real teeth; they look like metal. But they're growling or they're whatever, and it's kind of like stutter growling as they're, but it's the drippage. It's like you look at them. I think they're, as much as I love the Predator, I think the xenomorph designs are probably one of the greatest alien designs that ever created.
Yeah.
H.R. Geiger's designs for all this stuff is insane.
Were they just hand drawn or?
Yeah, H.R. Geiger, I think he designed the xenomorphs as well, but he drew all this stuff, and his artwork was known for, if you look up H.R. Geiger, his artwork was very much that tone all the time. Like, I'm sure he had various things, but
he's this. Oh yeah.
So if you ever look at his work,
the Monster Maker. Yeah. Oh, we might need to watch that. It's a YouTube little documentary.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
So anyway,
look at that.
Yeah, he draws some crazy stuff.
That's kind of creepy.
So I've been a fan of his forever, but yeah, his alien designs are insane, and the fact that they always capture it, and I love that they go the route that whenever the alien bursts out of it, kind of takes on a persona of that.
Oh, there's one in this. It's creepy.
Yeah, and I was a little.
Oh no!
I'm not a big fan of the little bit of change one, but I like that it harkens back to something else. So if you catch the look and the nature of it,
because it has the
so it connects. This movie alone, while being by itself, really connects every alien movie that's been made together.
Yeah.
And
It's a good
as
one.
well as it did, I do hope that one, that it makes them make the new Alien Predator, because I would love to see that again. But two, I hope we get to see more Alien movies, because I'd love to see this franchise move on. But I hope that they do this, where they keep making ones that are random stories instead of everything having the same people over and over and over. Because to me, that, like, as much as I love Sigourney Weaver's Ripley character, it gets monotonous of, okay, of course she's in the same fight again.
We're going to see her in her little gray panties again.
That part I'm fine with.
Lord.
Not now, but then.
Sigourney still looks good,
She is. She's fine. But as much as most people hate part 4, I at least can applaud.
I enjoyed it. It was the first time I'd ever seen it this week.
Stop telling me that. Yes, it's the first time you've seen it this week.
I don't remember a lot of things, and Bobby thinks that we've seen them through marathons.
No, it's not a think. I know for a fact.
I had not seen part 4.
Yes, she had. And you know what she told me when we watched it the last time? I never saw this movie.
Write this down.
So in a few years, when they make another Alien movie, and then she goes, did I watch part 4? This next time it'll probably be she won't remember part 3. So it goes back and forth.
All right.
Hell, eventually she's not going to remember we ever saw this. So the mind goes first. Anyway,
that's all right.
As much as I do love this movie, it did have some pacing issues for me. But now that I also think it's one of those things that now that I've seen it, when I revisit it, I don't think the pacing is going to bother me as much.
Correct, because we know
because now I know where I'm going and I'm ready for it. There's not the anticipation of face huggers.
Well, you got your face huggers.
Oh, plenty of them. Anyway, Alien Romulus is in theaters now. You do not have to watch all the other movies to understand it, but you will miss some of the fun stuff of it, the Easter eggs. And there's one controversial CGI element of it that I thought was a very smart idea, but some people like it, some people don't. But I thought it was fantastic.
Alrighty, there you go. Okay, over to you, my love. Tell me what's going on.
There's actually a decent amount of stuff coming out. A lot of it's re-release stuff. I don't see a lot of brand new stuff. So Let Him Go, the movie with Diane Lane and Kevin Costner, that I don't think did well, but I think we liked it. The one where they're getting revenge for their son or whatever, they got killed.
Yeah.
It's getting a 4K release. Red Eye, which is Cillian Murphy, Rachel McAdams on the plane. Is getting a 4K release. Death to Smoochie, the Robin Williams, Edward Norton, Danny DeVito movies getting released from Shout Factory.
Shout!
There's a 4K double feature of the Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, which are the newer versions of the films with Sam Worthington as Perseus.
I don't know. I like what's his name.
I like the original, but I do like the new ones too. They're just fun action.
I don't think I've seen the new ones. I've only seen the original. Oh no, you're gonna tell me I saw it, didn't you? Did I see a new? All I remember is Henry. What's it? Hamill?
Who?
Henry. What's his name?
Harry Hamlin.
Harry Hamlin. That's what I thought.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
The Last Unicorn is getting a 4K release, which is a fantastic animated film. It's very depressing. Can't Hardly Wait's getting a 4K release. Evil Dead, the 2013 version, is getting a Steelbook edition release. Tremors is getting a 7-movie collection release on Blu-ray. Creepypasta is coming out. And I think that's most of the big stuff this week. It's not a huge week for new stuff. Frogs is getting a new release. I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, let me tell you what's coming out at the theater or on the line. Coming out on Tuesday, August 20th on Video Demand and Digital, the new movie Twisters. If you missed it in theater, this is your opportunity to see it at home online on digital. Also coming out is a movie called Tomorrow Before After. We're in a post-apocalyptic world. This lady is continually searching for other survivors, but she comes to the conclusion that she may be the only one left. And mysteriously, she's somehow pregnant and doesn't know how, especially if she's the only person left on this planet. So that seems really interesting. Coming out also to Video Demand and Digital, it is a new movie called The Cleanup Crew, starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Antonio Banderas. It doesn't matter what's it about. I'm going to be watching it. We will talk about it next week. Basically, a briefcase full of money shows up, and the cleanup crew, which is Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and his partner, decide they're going to take the money, but they have to outwit a criminal mastermind played by Antonio Banderas. Oh, I'm so excited. Coming to Video Demand and Digital this week, Bad Boys Ride or Die. This was a really fun movie. I had no real interest in it being fun and as awesome as it was, and it really was. So I'm excited to watch that again. A thriller, a horror thriller coming out called Art of a Hit. It's a 90s frontman from a rock band has to grapple with irrelevance, but it's also a thriller and a horror and a musical all at the same time on video demand and digital. Also coming out, a movie called Sea Level 3, Dolphin Boy. It says it's the sequel to the hit family film Sea Level. So I guess you need to see Sea Level 1 and 2 to see Sea Level 3.
That.
Who knows? Well, it's
I don't
coming
know if
out.
I ever watched it, but I've seen it. Or maybe I have the double feature.
Who knows? Coming out on Thursday to Netflix, the new animated series Terminator Zero. It is about Terminators. And
hence the name.
Yes,
it's
Terminator.
An anime.
So it's a future war has raged between the humans and the machines. So someone goes back in time to stop Skynet. I mean, it sounds familiar. But
same story every time.
But this time, it is a female soldier that's sent back to the year 1997 to protect a scientist who is working on launching the new AI system that will compete with Skynet's impending attack on humanity. So I'm all about that. Also coming to Netflix, The Secret Lives of Orangutans. It's another animal documentary narrated by Sir David Attenborough. Say no more. We're all there.
Are we?
We are. Oh my gosh. What else would you do if he wasn't around? I guess his son's going to have to do it. Coming out on Friday in the theaters, a movie called The Forge. Hold on. I read a little synopsis about it. It is an inspirational drama about the power of mentorship. That's all it tells us. Also coming out to theaters, this is the new movie starring Channing Tatum called Blink Twice.
He's Spanish. His name is
Channing Tatum. Blink Twice. He's the tech billionaire who tells everyone, oh, he bought an island. Come hang out with us. And crazy things start to happen on this island. We got to check it out. I know this one is all about you coming out in the theaters. The Crow. This is a new imagining.
It's a reimagining of the source material.
Okay.
And it is not a remake of the Brandon Lee movie.
Okay. It is a reimagining starring this time Bill Skarsgård as the Crow. Coming to Shudder this week, a movie called Hell Hole. It is an American-led fracking crew working in the Siberian wilderness at odds with the government. We'll see what happens. But it does say it's a monster creature feature because there is a parasitic monster in their woods. Be careful. Coming out to Netflix this week, a movie called Incoming. It's about 4 freshmen navigating their first party. Ooh, that sounds scary. Coming to Peacock, a movie called The Killer. Set in present day, an assassin risks everything to protect. I can't talk today. Everything to protect a singer with the help of the LAPD.
What is it?
The Killer.
Oh, the remake.
Yeah, Sam Worthington and Jeff Campbell and I don't know.
Open it up.
John Woo.
Yeah, so that's basically that's a Chow Yun-Fat movie.
Oh, okay.
The Killer, and then the remake at least is being also directed by John Woo.
Yeah,
who directed the original.
Oh, that's great.
I don't think it's going to be that great, but at least the original filmmakers are remaking the same movie.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So in that case, I'm okay with it.
Also coming out on Friday to Hulu. This is the one that I think I want to watch because you told me about the trailer and I watched it. The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. It follows the lifelong friendship of 3 ladies from adolescence through marriage to having children to after that, and just the strength of their friendship that gets them through. This is the one where in the trailer, this one guy is mistreating one of their friends, so she takes off her dress and she's like, come on, I ain't getting blood on my dress.
Did you ever watch the trailer?
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
She's like, come on. And they're like, what is wrong with you? She's like, I'm not getting blood on my dress. So, love it. I'm excited to watch that. So, that's it for this week. Bev, tell me about the contest.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix something that I found was a mistake.
Oh, okay.
Contest was, we got a bunch of new stuff.
Oh, good.
Let me get to it here real quick. Sorry. Let's fix this up on the website. We still got some copies of Collateral on 4K. We also have digital copies of Twisters, the new one that is still in theaters. It is available now on digital. We have copies of Ultra Taiga, the full series, as well as the movie collection. Some copies of If. Yeah. We still have a couple copies left of the original Twister.
You could get Twister and Twisters.
Twister and Twisters. Twisters on 4K. Twisters is digital.
Nice.
And I would have put them together on the contest page, but somebody gets all mad when I rearrange things because she has her set up or whatever.
Sorry,
Anyway,
I would have done it.
And then we've got some 4K copies of Furiosa, a Mad Max saga available. No, here we go.
Furiosa.
Anyway, those are all what we have.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Make sure you go to the contest page to enter to win all of those wonderful free things you saw us. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next week.